Hey, guys.
Steve, what happened to James?
Yeah, James's hand's been bothering him for a few days at least, but he thought it was nothing. And then it really flared up this morning when he woke up. So, obviously irritated he was feeling yesterday. And then this morning he woke up with some, irritation. So we had a scan and there's I think what we're calling is a hand strain from a doctor. So, just unfortunate. And I believe it's a game time decision. So they're just going to continue to analyze and monitor and see if he can go.
So he had an MRI and it came back clean then?
Clean, but clean of the bad stuff, but a strain for sure. There's stuff on the MRI. So he's feeling something and feeling the strain. And it's been, like I said, it's been bothering him. But the thing that he was like, it's nothing. And now it's no more than nothing. And so he woke up with a marked difference in the hand.
Is he going to warm up?
That's up to the physios. I don't know what the steps are to see if he gets to that stage.
Two quick ones, Coach. I mean, the trade deadline is obviously coming up. How do you, evaluate your team when you really haven't seen your whole team at once? You
just do the best you can. I mean, honestly, I don't think about trades at all. That's not my job. My job is for our group to move forward, to improve, to build, and especially like you said, when we haven't had our full team, that's a full-time job. Like there's no breezy periods when you're constantly trying to shuffle and shift and put the team out there in a position to compete when the rotations and the lineups change pretty regularly. So we're just busy with that. We don't worry about the trade deadline as coaches. We're happy with our group, and we look for hopefully longer stretches of health and availability. But in the meantime, we got lots of work to do.
Speaking of longer stretches of health, is there any concern with Joe that this could be something that lingers well into the season, or are you hopeful that this is something that'll be resolved soon?
I'm hopeful that it'll be resolved soon, but again, that's outside of my education.
Steve, going back to James, do you have any idea how long this has been going on with him? And do you have any idea how he aggravated it or irritated it?
It's probably outside of my jurisdiction to say, but what it seems like is a few days and then shooting and lifting yesterday, just flared it up and he doesn't remember an event, but the scan shows the irritation, the strain. And he said that he's had it for a number of days. So, I think the deduction would be that he must have irritated it shooting and lifting yesterday.
Hey, Steve, Kevin and Clay have been some of the success stories of coming back from an Achilles. What do you think's been the common denominator beyond, their obvious talent that they're able to overcome something that not only prevents some players from coming back, but being the same player they once were?
Modern medicine. I think is moved in that direction. I think they're also guys that have great passion for the game and toughness. And you add it all up and they have a better chance, today with their will to want to play this game than at any time in history as far as that injury goes.
Steve, I got two for you. Just, is the hamstring tightness gone with James?
Yeah. Yesterday he worked out, felt great. So the hammy, I believe, is resolved.
And then you mentioned Clay. Do you see any parallels between what the Warriors are trying to do with reintegrating him with what you guys are doing with Kyrie, given both their layoffs?
Yeah, I guess you could make parallels for sure. They're completely different in that Kai wasn't injured like Clay was. So that's just a fact. But yeah, reincorporating top players into your program at this point of the season is very similar.
Steve, with Kyrie, you guys always were pretty transparent about the idea that it wasn't going to be ideal to only have him part-time, but you've been doing this for a minute now. Just in general, how are you finding it to be from a rhythm standpoint, and what kind of observations have you had as you have an unprecedented situation with a player here?
Well, it's been great having him back. We've had so many injuries and interruptions this year, availability issues that to add a player of his caliber, even if it's just on the road, has been much needed and been great for our group. And fortunately, just the reality of the last, 18 months for us is that we've never had an extended run of health. So to have a player that plays on the road and at home is not that different than what we face week to week anyways. So it hasn't been as strange for our group. It hasn't been strange at all in some weird way. It actually feels normal. I know, because we've just had so many interruptions and injuries.
You spent some time here with the Warriors as a special advisor. Was that your title, Steve? A jack of all trades.
Sounds
type?
great. I like
Sure,
that.
a special advisor.
Sounds very Washington, D.C. I'm down with that.
Did any of that experience kind of inform your head coaching experience?
Of course. It's not, when I was here, I wasn't planning on being a head coach. So when I was here, I was just trying to be a resource for everyone. They wanted me to work with a player, or if a player wanted to work with me or talk to me about certain aspects of the game or approach, and if the coaches wanted to run things by me, I was just happy to be around and be an asset if needed and called upon. Having said that, of course, when you're around the success and you're around Steve and his coaching staff, you're going to pick up a tremendous amount. And so, it's all over me in some respects, what I've learned from Steve as a person, as a coach, and from his staff and their program is definitely all in there somewhere. And I'm grateful for the opportunity because it definitely made me better as a person and as a basketball person.